invite by me. Hey guys, all good? This is Sky Hendra, and after a year I'm back with the active channel for you. I'll be bringing my builds that I've been playing in the end game. In this 1 year that I stopped creating content, I moved from the DC River class and went to DC DPS, right, the Bard. I like the class a lot. I'll be bringing my game builds that we've been making content. If you have suggestions for videos, please leave them in the comment there that we will be looking and analyzing so that we can bring a more dynamic content. For all of you, it's just a quick note. I didn't make the video 1 year. It's practically because I was putting my life in order, putting my head in order, and we like to bring a clear content for you. So let's start over from the beginning, and I hope the old folks, the people who are coming, and really enjoy the video that I will be making and the next contents that I will bring to you. Well, today currently I have been playing as BardHealer. I kind of switched a little bit. I left the DC. So much so that in DC we played both DPS and healer, and I came to Bard. In DC he's still set up. I play with him. But today my main healer is the Bard. I will be presenting my build to you. It's an end game build, so for those just starting, the most you can focus here is to see the items, the companions especially, that you will have to acquire later, but it's not a build meant for you. As we can say, it is not a build to come back to you to say, no, I have to follow this, because it is a build that uses a lot of AD. So for those who are starting the game, focus on the little game, focus on the stories. The game will provide enough resources for you. And when you're in the video, he stops for the end game. It's something you can start thinking about filling your character. Well, I'll be presenting here. This one is my Bard. Currently here we are with 87, 88 cards. We still use some items from module 2. Old I, at least in my build, have been using. This Bard, he does all the content of the game. I've done everything and any control of the game. From the trip to the last trials, he is a very versatile character, a character that especially in trial people like a lot for debuff and DPS. The bugs he goes through, and it's a class that has a little more peculiarity for playing. Today my build is kind of a standard one for healers. So we have here a helmet from MTOS. It's a restored helmet that increases, by the way, Divinity Regeneration, a chest of MWP, which is the chest of the last DG, the chest of Kimi of the last heal. So when I'm there with my team, it's gonna give 1.5% active in heal times 5 and another 2% critical for those near me. A dragon's glove, this glove here in my build, it is essential for me to hit my power cap. You do the dragon hunts, he catches. It is not a hard thing to catch. Here I use the DG's weapon, but this here is a matter of taste. You could be using it on the DG weapon, as well as you could be using the Master Edge or the new Master Edge. I didn't want to spend. For creating more content with the more close team, I can use Perfect Neo easily. Little Seal boot that gives me outgoing heal and is strong when I'm in a party. Yeah, here I use the Tiamat amulet. I really like this set, which is a set that gives me 5% outboy view and 5% outplay. Percent of living inconvenience. It's a cheap set in case you don't want to use it. We have other sets. We could be using, what is the Daedra Apocalypse? I don't really like the Marinity set because, as far as I know, the damage it deals is only for you and not for your team. We have other sets for healers that today is quite broad for you to be choosing. We are using both WSL rings here, which are the WSA loop ring and the MWP ring. It's the ring that he's going to give me here, the last heal I need and the multi-target heal which I most effectively need. And the other ring gives me the OTG on heal status and I get strong. And when I get 8% stronger and the opponent's mark is full, I'll keep winning and winning and winning by 15%. It's a lot. I do not use Dailin much, so this ring comes out very effective. Both in the status of outgun heal and my fort, which after a certain cap is very useful. as much as in the defensive statuses. This is the Tiamat set. We are using it here. Darn, the TSG's shirt and pants that drop in the new map meeting. I got the one that gives me critical to severity, the defective severity pants, but here you can be wearing X-Car Strike pants, but they are very expensive and I didn't see the need to use them at this moment. For the artifacts, I still use the set from Joke of the North with the Marley set to give me the critical feverite that I need there. And in the main artifact, you will be using the debuff artifact. Here, regardless of the artifact you are using, it will be made a debuff artifact. For the intuition and the artifact of the Kolzao. Guys, here in the power section, I will not be explaining in detail to you what each encounter, each activity, the crash factor, the feat does. I'll just be here presenting to you guys what we use. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments and we'll written in more detail. In the activity, we are using Fleet and Arpeggio. In counters, we use Flourish, Delayed Play, and Baseline. At Dana, we leave Ikori and Curtin Cow. And for the sound part, we left it here. In the sound part, you're going to leave everything. Here on the shortcut bar, basically on the shortcut bar, in case you forget. And about the part that are the triggers, I leave the Shattered Etude and I leave the Defender Mimic. You may be switching like this here, it's a very personal thing from you. At Craft Fetcher, we will be using a class feature that increases our healing. When you're in combat, it increases by 5%. Here you will be using it when you are doing trash mob that you're running the BG. You can use the Let's Alar, which increases the speed of the entire group when you play the music. Once at Flamengo, you might be using the Star Truck. This one would be more aimed there when the team is struggling a bit, receiving a lot of damage, as people say. Critical hit, or the tank receives a critical hit. They receive it in Rio. Here at Fit, yeah, we're going to use 2 on the bottom and 3 on the top. I won't explain what each fit does in case you have questions or if you want me to explain. Powers, encounters in detail, you guys comment there that I bring to you. Guys, here in the mount part, we will be using a combat power of, depending on what you're needing there for the team. I usually use the Pegasus, but you can use a Rex, an Eclipse, a Lion. With your weapon and whatever is needed in the team, you'll be using. Here at Team Power Mystic Aura, you could be using Mystic Aura, right? Here at Team Power Mystic Aura, a Runic Aura. Then it will greatly depend on what the tank is using for you to use a different one from his. On the part of insignias, I'm with all my necklaces in the Epic, only one in Mythic because I played them in the DC. I didn't see much need at the moment to have the Nitrix Scholar here. We will be using a convenient Mender, 3 live heart and 2 Mender. This is very institutional, but I always recommend at least having 1 Mender, 1 Lion. It's our 2 Menders and a Lion, and the rest you use according to what you're needing there. The insignia you're going to be using either Brutality or Dominance. It also depends a lot on what your char will need at the moment. But usually these are the insignias we end up using. Here in the enchantments part, we are also using here just to fill status, to hit our caps. I use 2 Mystic Jade, I use a Cobalt, and I use an Opal, one of the offensive ones. In utility I use a Jade as well, which is to give me ultimate on heal. On the defensive side here, I have placed an Aliens, but you can also put a defense here. This largely depends on, it's up to your taste or whatever is left there. Here in Overload, you'll always be using one of Critical Strike, which is the 5% Dekarkai, which is a healing that unfortunately is lost. And a White Dragon here, which is to buff your healing. This here is very, very important. It buffs your healing by 10%. Here in the fight, I use the fortified netherite, which is a defense stone. I think it's very essential to keep you alive. But if you're not hitting your cap for some reason, you can be using lightning here. It will give you more critical strikes as well. And it's a very good stone. And here I use the speed movement stone because for me the bard is not dependent on Dave. So I'd rather have more movement there rather than having the 5% of action points. For me it works better. That doesn't mean it'll work for you. So here it goes, a lot of what you want, Fabricio. Let's talk about consumables, right? I use here, as you all may see, a squash soap, a fresco, and I use a defense potion, which is defense and wariness. I don't need to be using this offensive potion because all the offensive states are already being kept. So I prefer to use the defensive potion. And it becomes more alive, right? A good rigger always has to be together to heal. I am going to show you my current status here. Let's assume the boss here at 75k. And here we give it a few pats and beauty. Let's open the statuses. We are going to see that we are with 65 of power here. The rating is like this, 87 critical strike. In old pants from 90. Our old Huey is at 77. So whenever we play a little song over there, you'll see that my power will start to rise. It will hit around 72 here. My critical strike, which will keep the 84, as we will have the rattlers there in the group. The power will hit 90. The calculator will stay at 90. Here it will probably reach 90 if when I park here, the Enchantment comes here from of the content, give it a few taps to see if it's he's on, but it also reaches 90. So we're going to end up with the three statuses, copied and 90. Tigon Hill in 77. We have another 1.5 of. And the Tigon Hill here when we are in groups, so it will be multiplied then. And plus the cap of the boot when we are in group, or in other words, the active heal will be capped at 92. We have the defensive status here. As we take the hits, the Air Force will highlight this. It's closer than I thought. They walk here in the middle. He really liked it even with the stone. See? This one is an ally help. Here, hit the enemy. Yeah. So here, look, it's reading 90, but here it's going to hit 90. Look, our defense and our air, they're going to get there in the 40s or so, according to the monster is going to hit, and it will be stuck there because there are too many monsters hitting you. We have an interesting deflect and a deflect select as well, dude. Final states are great there, 1,152,000 HP. So you see, it's going to be a healer who can withstand the beatings. You won't die easily, and consequently, you're going to keep your group alive. Let's talk about the rotation. Now, the rotation of the bot, it is a rotation. So it's a simple rotation, it's not a hard one. I'll be explaining to you how the boat's rotation is going to work. Well, first we're going to use ours. You're going to use it. You're going to keep a song stored here. You'll always leave. She's going to be kept there. So in case you need and finish your performance, and you'll be able to use it. The rotation of the bard will be simple. Before entering the DG or the boss, are you gonna buff your team, or are you gonna put the first buff, Satellite Return? You're going to set the Blaze of Flamengo, or put it here, and you'll buff your next song. And we'll put Regiment Carol for her to keep giving high heal over time. And it will always be, your healing will be in the Chatelere of Vatande. Every time he doesn't lose the buff, she heals. So you will be always healing there and always keeping the Euskarol and the Brazil Flamenco active. Why? Because you need to be dealing over 15% damage plus the 15% damage reduction. And remember, this buff only passes if you play the music without being on the trigger. So always remember that you're only going to play it with a trigger when it's necessary, and you need to heal very quickly. You see, she isn't going to make it in time. And there's always the possibility there of the music that we kept for our feat when it stays circulating there. You can use it and it won't wear out. So whenever you play a song, you have a percentage of chance to activate the feat. And you can use the song that's saved without spending it. So the Bardos's rotation is simple. It's this one. So you will always keep the 3 old banks. We're past 15%. The Carol Regiment always playing with the encounter that buff, which boosts the buff by 50%. Her reward time increases. And whenever possible, activate your healing boost switch. And play the 172 heal. That's practically it. You'll always do that when you need to heal Nightwill from Bardo that we descend with the help of feats. We're going to heal and release. It's a matter of 2 seconds, 2 seconds healed, released, 2 seconds healed, released. Why do we do this? The longer you hold the opaque activity, the less healing you will give. So you go there, heal 2-3 seconds here, release, it'll reset, and you do it again, start over. So you're always resetting. It's taped there, and it's not healing less. Guys, so the Bard build I'm currently using is this one. If you have any queries, leave a comment. If I failed to explain anything, I apologize. We are starting to make videos again. If you have doubts about defeats, encounters, powers, and want me to make a more detailed video on how each thing works, now comment there that I make videos for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's go to the next content which will come out soon. Okay, thanks.